Hey there, my dear friends. Welcome back to our channel, where we're all about helping you live your best life in your golden years. If you're watching this, you're probably someone who wants to feel vibrant, strong, and full of energy as you age. Or maybe you're here to learn how to help a loved one, like a parent, spouse, or friend, stay healthy and happy. Either way, you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. Today, we're diving into a topic that's close to my heart. Literally, we're talking about 10 foods seniors must avoid to protect their heart health and keep their ticker strong for years to come. You see, as we get older, our hearts work harder than ever to keep us going strong. But the foods we eat can either support that hard-working heart or put it under unnecessary strain. Did you know that heart disease is the #1 cause of death for people over 65 in the US, UK, Australia, and other Western countries? That's a sobering statistic, but here's the good news. You have the power to change your heart's future, starting with what's on your plate. In this video, we're going to walk through 10 foods that could be silently harming your heart. And don't worry, I'm not just going to leave you hanging. I'll share practical, easy-to-follow swaps that taste great and keep your heart happy. Plus, stick with me until the end, because I'll share an inspiring story about someone who turned their health around by making these changes. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Let's start with a big one, processed meats. Think bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats like ham or salami, and even those pepperoni sticks you might snack on. I know. There's nothing quite like the smell of bacon sizzling on a Sunday morning or a quick deli sandwich for lunch. But here's the tough truth. These foods are packed with sodium, preservatives, and unhealthy fats that can do serious damage to your heart. Research from the American Heart Association shows that eating processed meats regularly increases your risk of heart disease by up to 42%. That's not a small number, friends. The sodium in these meats can spike your blood pressure, while the saturated fats clog your arteries over time. Let me tell you about Tom, a 68-year-old retiree from Chicago. Tom was a sausage sandwich guy through and through. Every morning, he'd make himself a hearty breakfast sandwich with sausage, cheese, and white bread. It was his ritual, and he loved it. But over time, Tom started noticing he was feeling tired, and his doctor warned him that his blood pressure was creeping into dangerous territory. After some tests, his doctor pointed out that the sodium and fats in those sausages were putting his heart at risk. Tom was shocked. He thought he was eating a pretty normal breakfast. So he made a change. He swapped out the sausage for lean, fresh meats like grilled chicken or turkey breast. He even started experimenting with plant-based proteins like black bean patties. Within a few months, Tom's blood pressure dropped, and he felt more energized than he had in years. The lesson here? You don't have to give up flavor to protect your heart. Try grilling some chicken with fresh herbs like rosemary or thyme, or make a turkey wrap with avocado and veggies. Small changes like these can make a huge difference. Next up, let's talk about sugary drinks. This includes sodas, sweetened iced teas, energy drinks, and even those healthy fruit juices that are often just sugar in disguise. These drinks might taste refreshing, but they're a major culprit for weight gain, high blood sugar, and heart strain. A 2019 study published in the journal Circulation found that drinking just one sugary beverage a day increases your risk of heart disease by 20%. That's one soda a day, friends. And many of us are drinking more than that without even thinking about it. Picture Susan, a 72-year-old from London who loved her daily cola. It was her little treat, something she'd sip on while reading or watching TV. But over time, Susan noticed her cholesterol levels were climbing, and she felt sluggish by mid-afternoon. Her doctor explained that the sugar in her cola was spiking her blood sugar and contributing to inflammation in her arteries. Susan decided to make a change. She started drinking sparkling water with a splash of fresh lemon or lime, and she even tried herbal teas with a hint of honey. Not only did she lose a few pounds, but she also felt more alert and energized throughout the day. The fix here is simple. Swap sugary drinks for water, unsweetened teas, or fruit-infused water for a burst of flavor. If you're craving something fizzy, try sparkling water with a slice of cucumber or a few berries. Your heart will thank you, and you'll feel the difference. Now, let's talk about trans fats, one of the worst offenders for your heart. These are the artificial fats found in things like margarine, shortening, and many packaged baked goods like cookies, crackers, and microwave popcorn. You'll often see them listed as partially hydrogenated oils on ingredient labels. Trans fats are like a wrecking ball for your heart, raising bad cholesterol, LDL, and lowering good cholesterol, HDL. The World Health Organization estimates that trans fats contribute to over 500,000 heart disease deaths globally each year. That's a staggering number, and it's why many countries have started banning them. Meet Margaret, a 70-year-old from Sydney who loved her store-bought muffins. Every morning, she'd have a muffin with her coffee, thinking it was a harmless treat. But when her cholesterol levels came back high, her doctor pointed out that those muffins were packed with trans fats. Margaret was stunned. She thought muffins were a healthier choice than donuts. She decided to take control and started baking her own muffins using heart-healthy ingredients like olive oil, mashed avocado, or even applesauce for moisture. Not only did her cholesterol levels improve, but she also discovered a new passion for baking. Her grandkids now beg for her homemade blueberry muffins. The takeaway? Always check labels for partially hydrogenated oils and opt for natural fats like olive oil, avocado, or nut butters. If you love baked goods, try making your own with whole ingredients. It's easier than you think, and your heart will thank you. White bread, white pasta, and other refined grains are staples in many kitchens, but they're not doing your heart any favors. These foods are stripped of fiber and nutrients, causing quick spikes in blood sugar that lead to inflammation and put stress on your heart. A study from Harvard University found that people who eat more refined grains have a higher risk of heart attack compared to those who choose whole grains. Plus, refined grains can leave you feeling hungry soon after eating, which can lead to overeating and weight gain, another risk for your heart. Let's talk about John, a 66-year-old from New York, who started his day with white toast and jam. It was quick, easy, and something he'd done for years. But John started noticing he was tired by mid-morning, and his doctor warned him about irregular heart rhythms. After some digging, John learned that the refined grains in his white bread were causing blood sugar spikes that stressed his heart. He made a simple switch to whole grain bread and started topping it with avocado, almond butter, or even a sliced boiled egg. The result? John had more energy, his heart palpitations eased, and he even lost a few pounds. The key is to choose whole grains like whole wheat bread, brown rice, quinoa, or oats. These keep you full longer, stabilize your blood sugar, and support your heart health. Try a bowl of oatmeal with fresh berries for breakfast, or swap white pasta for whole grain or chippy pasta. Small swaps, big impact. Who doesn't love the crispy, golden crunch of fried chicken, French fries, or fried fish? I get it, it's comfort food at its finest. But fried foods are loaded with unhealthy fats and calories that can clog your arteries and increase your risk of heart disease. The American Heart Association says that eating fried foods regularly can raise your risk of heart failure by nearly 70%. That's a number we can't ignore, especially as we age. Consider Linda, a 69-year-old from Texas who looked forward to her fried catfish Fridays. It was a tradition she shared with her family, and she didn't think much of it. But after a scary episode of chest pain, her doctor urged her to cut back on fried foods. Linda was hesitant. She loved that crispy texture, but she started experimenting with baking her fish with a light breadcrumb coating and spices like paprika and garlic. To her surprise, it was just as delicious, and she felt so much better. Instead of frying, try baking, grilling, or using an air fryer to get that crispy texture without the harmful fats. For example, toss some sweet potato wedges with olive oil and spices, then bake them until crispy. Your heart will thank you, and you'll still get that satisfying crunch. Canned soups might seem like a healthy, convenient choice, especially on a busy day. But many of them are loaded with sodium, which can raise your blood pressure and put serious strain on your heart. The CDC says that most Americans over 50 are consuming way more sodium than their hearts can handle, and canned soups are a major culprit. Some cans have over 1,000 milligrams of sodium per serving. That's nearly half your daily limit in one bowl. Take Robert, a 71-year-old from Manchester who relied on canned soups for quick lunches. He thought he was making a healthy choice, but his blood pressure was climbing, and he felt bloated and tired. When he started reading labels, he was shocked to see how much sodium was in his favorite soups. Robert decided to take action. He started buying low-sodium versions or making his own soups with fresh vegetables, herbs, and low-sodium broth. One of his favorites is a simple vegetable soup with carrots, celery, and a touch of thyme. Not only did his blood pressure improve, but he also enjoyed the process of cooking. The tip here is to always check labels for sodium content and aim for soups with less than 300 milligrams per serving. Better yet, make your own soups at home. It's easier than you think, and you can control exactly what goes in. Ice cream, full-fat cheese, and creamy sauces are so tempting, aren't they? There's something so comforting about a scoop of ice cream on a warm evening or a cheesy casserole. But these foods are often high in saturated fats, which can clog your arteries and increase your risk of heart disease. A study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that high saturated fat intake is linked to a 25% higher risk of heart disease in older adults. Let's talk about Emma, a 67-year-old from Melbourne who had a nightly ice cream ritual. It was her way to unwind after a long day, but she started noticing she felt bloated and her cholesterol levels were creeping up. Her doctor explained that the saturated fats and full-fat dairy were putting her heart at risk. Emma didn't want to give up her treats entirely, so she switched to Greek yogurt with fresh fruit or small portions of low-fat frozen yogurt. She even started experimenting with plant-based ice creams made from almond or oat milk. The result? Her cholesterol improved. She felt lighter, and she still got to enjoy her evening treat. Try swapping full-fat dairy for low-fat or plant-based alternatives. For example, use Greek yogurt in place of sour cream, or try almond milk in your coffee. You'll still get that creamy texture without the heart-harming fats. Store-bought cookies, donuts, and pastries are so convenient, but they're often packed with sugar, trans fats, and empty calories that can harm your heart. These treats can lead to weight gain and inflammation, both of which put extra stress on your heart. Research shows that high sugar intake is linked to a 38% higher risk of heart disease, and those trans fats we talked about earlier only make things worse. Consider Sarah, a 73-year-old from Seattle who loved her afternoon cookies with tea. It was her daily ritual, and she didn't think much of it until she had a heart health scare. Her doctor pointed out that the sugar and fats in those store-bought cookies were contributing to her high cholesterol and weight gain. Sarah decided to take control. She started making her own treats using oats, bananas, and a touch of honey or maple syrup. Her homemade oatmeal cookies became a hit with her book club. She also started keeping fresh fruit on hand for a naturally sweet snack. The key is to limit store-bought sweets and focus on homemade treats with natural ingredients. Try baking your own cookies or muffins with whole grains and natural sweeteners. Or reach for a piece of fruit when you're craving something sweet. Your heart will thank you for it. Energy drinks might promise a quick boost, but they're a disaster for your heart, especially as we age. These drinks are packed with caffeine, sugar, and artificial stimulants that can cause irregular heartbeats, high blood pressure, and even heart attacks in extreme cases. A 2021 study found that energy drinks can increase heart strain in older adults, even in small amounts. That's a risk we don't need to take. Let's talk about James, a 70-year-old from Bristol, who thought energy drinks would help him keep up with his grandkids. He'd have one in the afternoon to get through a busy day, but he started noticing heart palpitations that scared him. His doctor explained that the caffeine and stimulants in those drinks were putting his heart under unnecessary stress. James switched to natural energy boosters like green tea, a brisk walk, or even a handful of nuts for a quick pick-me-up. He also made sure to stay hydrated with plain water infused with citrus or cucumber. The result? His palpitations stopped, and he felt more energized without the jitters. Skip the energy drinks and focus on natural ways to boost your energy, like a short nap, a healthy snack, or some light exercise. Your heart deserves better than a chemical jolt. Finally, let's talk about alcohol. Now, don't get me wrong. A glass of red wine with dinner might have some heart benefits, thanks to antioxidants like resveratrol. But too much alcohol can raise your blood pressure, damage your heart muscle, and increase your risk of stroke. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1 drink per day for women and 2 for men, and that's especially important as we age. Take Michael, a 74-year-old from San Francisco who loved his nightly cocktails. It was his way to unwind after a long day, but he started noticing he felt tired and his sleep wasn't as restful. After a heart scare, his doctor urged him to cut back. Michael decided to limit himself to 1 glass of red wine a few times a week, always with a meal to reduce its impact. He also started experimenting with non-alcoholic options like sparkling water with a splash of cranberry juice. The result? His energy levels improved, his sleep got better, and his heart felt stronger. Enjoy alcohol in moderation, and always pair with food to lessen its effects on your heart. If you're looking for a festive drink, try a mocktail with fresh herbs and fruit. It's just as satisfying without the risks. Well, friends, there you have it. The 10 food seniors must avoid to protect their heart health and live a longer, healthier life. From processed meats to sugary drinks, fried foods to energy drinks, these foods might taste good in the moment, but they're silently stealing your vitality. The good news? You don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start with one small swap, like choosing whole grain bread over white or baking instead of frying. These little changes add up to big results for your heart. I want to leave you with a story about Anna, a 75-year-old from Boston who turned her health around. Anna was struggling with high cholesterol, low energy, and a family history of heart disease. She felt overwhelmed, thinking she had to give up all her favorite foods. But by cutting out these 10 harmful foods and replacing them with heart-healthy options, she transformed her life. Today, Anna's hiking with her grandkids, gardening with ease, and feeling better than she did in her 60s. Her secret? She started small, swapping one food at a time, and built from there. You can do this too, friends. Your heart is the engine that keeps you going, so let's treat it with the love and care it deserves. If this video spoke to you, please give a thumbs up and share it with someone you love. Maybe a friend, a parent, or a sibling who could use these tips. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our weekly videos on senior health, wisdom, and living your best life. Drop a comment below and let me know which food you're going to swap out first or share your own heart-healthy tips. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep shining. Here's to a strong heart and a vibrant life.